Good morning, everyone. I'm Bill Plunkett, Director of School Counseling, and welcome to our 9th grade parents school counseling presentation. Hopefully by now you started to hear from your children that they're settling in and getting into a little bit of a groove. We hear a lot about incoming classes. I have to say this one was hyped up to be a pretty strong class, so we're expecting big things, and so far it's been great to get to know them a little bit. Some ups and downs in the beginning, but hopefully things are going okay for them so far. This morning serves to provide some information to you all as you start to think about how to help support your child through the transition to high school and set them up for a successful 4 years while they're here. To start, it's my pleasure to introduce the assistant principal for the class of 2027, Jim Farnan, who will say a few words.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and I said goodbye to my senior class in June, and it's bittersweet because we work really, really hard to get to know the kids and enjoy. They come in and they join us, as you can see, as kids, and when they leave us, they're young adults. And the days are long, but the years blow by. So my opening message is really enjoy. You're going to hear this morning about the importance of balance and getting involved and not putting too much pressure, and really enjoy the ride. And don't rush it to the destination, because it's going to be here before you know it. A little bit about me. I have 4 children. They have all gone through Staples. I have one that is here now who's a senior. This is my 24th year here, and I feel fortunate that I have the best job in America. It has a little bit of everything, and Staples truly is a special place. My daughter, who's getting married next year, started here when she was a sophomore. And at the time, we were not living in Westport, and she came to me and said, "Dad, my high school's great, but it's not Staples. I want to go to Staples." And I said, "Oh my God, a little bit challenging, having your two worlds collide," as George Costanza would say. So at the time, Katie met with our director of guidance, Elaine Schwartz, made a T-chart, pros and cons. She ended up coming and wrote her college essay about it was the best decision that she ever made. My son then decided he wanted to come. At the time, wanted to play football, wanted to be involved in science research. He came. Then my son Michael was rowing at Saugatuck, so I'm driving from Easton to Saugatuck, and I said, "This is unbelievable." So I'm probably the only guy in America, and I'm paying tuition for this, by the way, only guy in America that had to move to Westport to save some money. But it really is a special place, and what makes it special is not this building. When we started here, matter of fact, my right-hand partner for the last 24 years is a gentleman that I want to introduce right now. He's also a dad of 4 children. He's our head baseball coach. He's your child's grade level assistant, and we work really closely. Not only he handles attendance, but much more. He's a big reason why our climate in this building is the way it is. So, Mr. McFarland, Coach McFarland. And while I'm at it, another individual that makes this place special. He's invaluable when it comes to making sure that the building is safe, but the relationships that he establishes with kids go beyond, saying hello in the classroom. He's a great role model, and we're very fortunate to have him with us, Officer Ed Wooldridge. We're on camera, Ed. The next introductions. We had a wonderful opening day, and we did something different this year. We really had a half day dedicated to 9th graders, and we thought it went really, really well, in addition to the orientation. And one of the reasons why it went so well is we have some awesome kids in other grades that are part of something called Link Crew. And they did an outstanding job, not only with orientation, but really being helpful to students to find the location, answer questions about their schedule, answer questions about the CAF. It's an awesome program, and I'm happy to introduce the next 3. So I'm going to call up Gianna Amatuzzi, Teddy Deutsch, and Ruby Cantor. Come on up. Nice round of applause for that.
Hi everyone, thank you for the great introduction. My name is Gianna. I'm a senior this year at Staples, which is crazy for me to believe. And we're here to tell you guys a little bit about Link Crew. So Link Crew is a peer-to-peer mentor program that consists of selected juniors and seniors. And our goal is to welcome and get to know all of the freshmen and help make them feel comfortable and make the transition to high school as smooth as possible.
Hi everyone, I'm Ruby. I'm a senior as well. I joined Link Crew because, for our freshman year, we were partly on Zoom, so it was a hybrid learning experience for us, and I felt that it was definitely a little bit harder to transition, so I wanted to help others kind of acclimate to the Staples community, kind of learn about the many opportunities we have here, and just get to know all the new freshmen.
Hi, I'm Teddy. So at Link Crew, I'm also a senior. So at Link Crew, we jump into the same connections class about once or twice a month. We have the same kids during orientation too, and we just try to build like a connection with them, and we also communicate with them pretty regularly. Like for me, I have a group chat with my kids, so we talk to them pretty often, and they can just reach out to us at any point. So for Link Crew, we just try to make ourselves available. If they have any questions or if they have anything they need, we try to help them. So yeah, that's pretty much what Link Crew is about.
So in a bit, you'll hear from several members of our school counseling team presenting today. The other half of our group was here on Friday. Some of you maybe have been as well for our senior parent counseling presentation. So I'll just introduce them real fast, and I'll give a wave. Kim Curran, PJ Washenko, Roy Colson's over here, and Tom Brown. I think that's everybody. Everybody else is presenting, right? We're also fortunate to have a school counseling intern with us this year, Alicia Lopez Torres. She'll be here every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And someone else who over time your children will begin working with, an incredible resource for our Students College and Career Center coordinator, Sandra Ziegler. And we have two department secretaries keeping everything running, Fran Gerasi and Susan Fugit, who are there to check in and kind of bouncing around. So great team. Staples is a large school, so in an effort to provide more personalization, we employ what we like to think of as a team approach. So there will be a number of people who are in your child's corner over 4 years. So many of our students do really well here. Those who don't, I have to say, it's really hard for them to fall through the cracks, even with being such a large school. As with any transition, we recognize that it may take some time to adjust and sort of get acclimated and navigate our systems. We've listed some of the primary players that you may want to be aware of in the handout that you received on the way in, which, by the way, we'll email out afterwards. It has a lot of links that'll be helpful to you. We're also recording today's program, so we'll send out a link to the recording if you want to go back to it or if you have friends who weren't able to come today. Places like the counseling suite or the AP's office, assistant principal's office, are perfectly fine as a first step. If you don't know who to go to, if we're not the ones, we don't know the answer to a question, we'll be able to point you in the right direction to as far as who to go to. Each student is assigned a school counselor, which I'll touch on a little bit more in a minute. We're also fortunate to have 5 school psychologists, 3 school social workers, 3 school nurses, 2 outreach counselors, 1 through Kids in Crisis, and 1 through liberation programs focusing on substance issues. We have our SRO, Officer Ed, who is just here, all here to support our students. We're also really fortunate in the town of Westport to have a really great partnership with the community. Department of Human Services, Kevin Godburn's here and just going to tell you a little bit about, are you okay? Just tell you a little bit about the programs that they run and some of the resources that are available for you as parents and for our children and the great programming that they do.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning, everybody. So as Bill said, my name is Kevin Godburn. I'm the Youth Services Director for the town of Westport. So Youth Services is under the Department of Human Services umbrella. We enjoy a tremendous relationship with the Westport Public Schools. The town school partnership here is really great. And perhaps, our largest initiative is our Westport Together Alliance, which is formerly Positive Youth Development, and really responsible for pulling together a lot of resources, programs, and education for families in Westport. So I know you probably received some information on Westport Together, but I encourage you to go on, check out our website, our social media, and you can see some of the programs that we have coming up. I also encourage you to reach out to us because we love to hear from parents, from families, from students about issues and concerns that they have. We want to be a place for referrals and support and to see what we can do to help all of you at the community level. So, when you're not supported so wonderfully by Westport Public Schools and outside of the school hours. We also have our Westport Youth Commission and Tokay Hall, our teen center in town, which provide programming and leadership opportunities for students, and just another way to connect to the community. So thank you, and see you around.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, and there's so many ways you can hear a lot about getting involved. You have already, but that's definitely a great way too. If students already aren't connected to clubs or activities, certainly getting involved in the community can be some positive ways to make connections. Connections is a program that already, I'm sure, started to hear a little bit about. The Link Crew students mentioned that. It's in our 5th year now, and we're excited to continue it this year, especially as it starts to integrate Link Crew as a way to support our 9th grade students. All Staples students grades 9 through 12 are assigned to a single connections group. It serves as an intentional time to communicate school-related information, foster meaningful connections between students and staff members, create a safe environment where students feel comfortable to hold open discussions throughout their Staples career. Our hope is that each student at Staples, particularly those who may struggle to seek out some of the connections on their own independently, will have, in addition to their school counselor, someone in the building, a trusted adult who they can turn to if something does arise. And that there's a group of students that they develop a bond with, students who they may not have otherwise come into contact with, either through their classes or through their teams or groups. There are 12 to 15 students in each Connections group with 1 to 2 faculty members. Connections groups are assigned by grade level and by a school counselor, and they stay with the same Connections group and staff member for all 4 years. Connections groups meet twice a week usually. Some of the schedules sort of vary from that, but in general, twice a week for 20 minutes. And about once a month, those Link Crew students are going to push in and either do activities or just kind of check in more casually with the 9th grade students who are under their care. 3 primary modes of communication with the school that I want to make sure you're accessing and orient you to. Direct messages, and often it's coming through School Messenger, which would be similar to what you would have received through Bedford or Coleytown Middle School if your child attended there. Typically, this would be through the principal's office or sometimes through counseling or other departments. You'll hear about events at the school for parents, important news items to be aware of, programs students might be participating in that we want you to know about. Emergency communication would take place in that way, changes in schedule. Most often it would be through email, but it also could be text or voicemail if it's something that's more urgent. All parents and guardians should be receiving that information, and you want to let us know. If not, we can look into it. Second would be our newsletters. So we're fortunate to have a really amazing, supportive PTA here at Staples. They put out a weekly planner every Tuesday morning. Should have gotten it about an hour or so ago. If you haven't already joined the PTA, we would encourage you to do that. The newsletter is going to have information about upcoming events during or after school, some stuff in the community, news, action items. The counseling department also has its own newsletter, which we send out every Friday afternoon. Things related to post-high school planning, upcoming programs that we're doing, deadlines to be aware of, any information to help guide you as parents through the journey that's ahead. And last, our website. So things ranging from various schedules, program of studies for descriptions of courses, our school calendar, upcoming events. There's tabs at the top for each of the subject area departments, and a couple of specific things that I think are helpful to point out. One is a link to Inklings, which is our online, print, and TV news show that started up last year. Inklings had been around. They started up a TV version last year. It's a great way to keep tabs on what's happening at school, especially if your child isn't someone to sort of like proactively share everything that might be going on. Next is student handbook. If you haven't already, I would familiarize yourself with things like the code of conduct, attendance policy, policies around academics and course changes. These are things that come up every year and shouldn't really be a surprise if they do. You may also remember from last year that there's a page dedicated to the class of 2027. If you go under students at the top and then class of 2027, there's all sorts of information there related to the transition to Staples that could be helpful to revisit, especially now that children are attending here. It might be a little bit more relevant for them. The school counseling website is under departments and then school counseling. We have a lot of general information there, tons of resources, videos from presentations that we've done, our planning guide, upcoming calendar by grade level. You'll see that many of the presentations that we do are geared towards upperclassmen, but you're certainly welcome to attend any that you may find helpful this year. Start like in a couple weeks, we have a financial aid application night. We have a college admission testing presentation in the spring. If that's something that you feel like would be helpful to you, certainly you're welcome to attend. Just a little bit more about our school counseling department. Each counselor has approximately 170 students, grades 9 through 12. Our work is centered around 3 main areas: academics, so course selection, scheduling, advising with current courses, and problem solving if academic issues arise. Post-high school planning would be the next one, so college, if that's on the horizon, or other pathways that a student might be considering, as well as career development. And last but not least, personal social, so peer issues, things that may be happening at home if a student is concerned about themselves or others in their lives, times of crisis, and then more kind of ongoing day-to-day stuff. You'll hear a lot about well-being as a focus for our district, and that's absolutely first and foremost for us as well. If students would like to schedule an appointment with us, we each have a Google Calendar, and instructions for using that are on our website. We also shared that with students at the start of the year. As parents, you can always reach out to us directly or call our secretary if you need to schedule a time to speak with us. We really do care and take the time to get to know our students as well as we can. But if there are some important elements that you think we should know about that we may not already, reach out to us. Some examples: family dynamics, health concerns, previous experiences with loss or trauma, academic learning needs, financial issues. So if there's a need for scholarships, fee waivers, other opportunities along the way, and really good things too. So any major extracurricular commitments that they may be a part of, goals that they might have, cool hobbies, great experiences that they've had that they may not be inclined to share with us on our own. We always hate when senior year around this time students are filling out their activity sheets for college and let us know about stuff that we're like, where was that information for? I would have loved to have known that about you. So keep us posted on those things. In the first week of school, we met with all of the 9th graders through Connections. It was a general introduction, good chance to get to know them a little bit, played a Jeopardy game and got some questions going. We also had them fill out a brief questionnaire for us about themselves. This is all following up on having met them at least once in the spring of 8th grade. And soon we'll be going back into 9th grade Connections groups, and then throughout the year, Connections, and doing classroom lessons with them on various topics. Before you know it, we'll be diving into course selection for sophomore year in the late winter, early spring. So I think you'll hear from us today and get the impression that rather than a definition of success that's dictated by college admissions or a single calculated grade point average, our school counseling department is grounded in the philosophy that a successful high school experience is a balanced one. It absolutely includes students thriving academically, as well as the development of certain life skills, personal growth and exploration, sustaining genuine relationships with peers and caring adults, positive experiences and extracurricular activities, demonstrations of kindness and character, and maintaining a happy, healthy state of body and mind. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Ms. McGillnick, one of our school counselors.
Good morning, everyone. So I'll be talking about supporting academics today, and there are many ways that parents can support academic success with their children. Starting with some of the basics here: sleeping and eating habits. When we receive the amount of sleep that we need and a balanced diet, we have more energy and feel well overall. There is a high correlation between sleep and a student's ability to access the curriculum, solve problems, to learn, listen, and to concentrate. Sleep is vital for people of any age, but especially for teens because of the impact on mental, physical, social, and emotional development that require a healthy night of sleep. There are some things that would be beneficial for all of us to follow, but in this instance, to help promote a good night's sleep for your children, some suggestions that I have include limiting the use of technology and electronic devices, not procrastinating with homework or projects. We all know what that looks like when a homework assignment or a project is worked on at the last minute and submitted. Considering what might be essential activities for your child to get involved with, establishing a solid routine at home. This would be a great opportunity to collaborate with your child on what would make the most sense for your family. Know your child and have an understanding of where they are now and what they might need, which may include some reminders here and there. So many ninth graders lack some executive functioning skills. You might be wondering what executive functioning skills are, and they're the mental skills that we need which allow us to get things done. Ms. Slocum will dive a little bit more into detail about this, but these skills will be refined and improved upon over the next 4 years. Students are in school to learn, develop, and grow, which is why prompting or reminding is okay at this point. Reminding your child to check their Schoology account, PowerSchool, their email, and any other pieces that would connect to their academics is encouraged. It isn't your job necessarily to help your child with the content in the classes as much as develop their study habits, organizational skills, and balancing those things that they need. Another support that you can provide is encouraging them to contact their teachers for extra help. You can talk with them about what they might say. You can help them craft an email. It may be a lot for a ninth grader to seek out an adult that they're just getting to know, and some extra support or encouragement in this area is absolutely welcome and may be helpful. I know that extra help sometimes can be associated with a student struggling in a class, but we really want to encourage students to receive extra help at other times as well. It's pretty common occurrence here at Staples for students to make a habit of meeting with their teachers for clarification or just to gain more understanding of a topic. We want to encourage the independence in your children and have them try it for themselves. We want them to have academic success, and sometimes that comes with learning it the hard way as well. Help them balance their sports and outside activities, provide some structure at home to help them with this. With 4 years of high school and many more years as an adult, developing these habits now will set them up for success once they leave Staples. Create a schedule for completing assignments, for participating in activities, also just for time for them to be a kid and a member of their family. Routines are crucial, and as mentioned before, it's helpful for you to assist them in setting those now. Also, you can take a look at their learning styles. Is your student a visual learner? Are they a hands-on learner? What are their strengths, and what areas might need some growth? Are your expectations reasonable? You may want to look at their work habits as well. Are they independent enough to succeed at their current level? Also, what is your definition of success? Would it be just a grade, or would it be based on the content that they've learned? Can they manage their own assignments? Can they be trusted to follow through on those assignments? Or do they need to be monitored, kind of completing their homework in a public area of the house, such as the kitchen or dining room, while they complete assignments? Asking yourself these questions can help you in making an informed assessment of when your child might need you to be more involved and when you can let them help kind of figure it out on their own for themselves. Help create a space in your home that's conducive to getting work done, and remember that not every child in your home is at the same place, so try not to compare. Everyone is on their own journey here. The good news is that they're ninth graders, so most of them don't stay where they are. There's a lot of growth that happens over the next 4 years. Also, allowing your child to build some resiliency and balancing your involvement can be tricky. If your child is requiring too much tutorial support, it might be time to assess the class level and other commitments that your student's involved in. If you use an outside support, please be sure to find ones that match your values and promote honest, authentic work. Our hope is that you and your children can look beyond the GPA and the value of learning over the grades. We know that parents and kids are thinking about transcripts and the numbers that are on them, but we want you to look beyond that and see what they learn through making mistakes, as well as developing as a student and a person, and that is much more essential once they get beyond high school. There's a high prevalence of mental health issues across college campuses, and so what's looked at by colleges isn't just academics, but more of these other factors in student development. Can they deal with stress? Are they resilient? Staples is a safe place where they can learn these skills, and we encourage you to be there and support them while they learn. These skills are essential as well for students who are interested in pathways other than a traditional 4-year college, such as apprenticeships, gap years, and diving right into the workforce. Our counseling department truly values all pathways, and if your child's considering any one of those, please make sure you connect with your counselor about it and also continue with that exploration as well. So Katie Koshis is up next.
Awesome. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Koshis, and I'm one of the new school counselors here at Staples. I'm going to be talking about how students can get involved outside of the classroom, because here at Staples, we want students to feel connected to our school and get involved outside of the 8 to 2:45 school hours. So extracurricular activities help students develop skills in a safe environment that can lead to a greater sense of belonging, leadership, and purpose. Generally speaking, extracurricular activities are an extension of the formal learning experiences. These activities are just as important as academics. They help develop a balanced student with more skills than one who only concentrates on their books. Education should go beyond the 4 classroom walls. Studies have shown that students who participate in activities have marked improvement in their grades. This can be attributed to skills they learn, such as a better time management and organizational skills, and a boost in their self-esteem. Skills learned in clubs and team sports can be applied in the classroom too, as students learn communication skills and how to work with others in a group. A student quickly discovers how to incorporate their club and sports activities into their school life and allocate enough time for each thing. They learn how to plan out their day to involve their activities and their academics, as well as they might be less likely to procrastinate because they have a lot on their plate. Students learn new skills that are useful in their school life and day-to-day activities, such as teamwork, improved social skills, and critical thinking. A recent study noted students who participate in activities were found to have enhanced leadership skills and learned how to relate better with their peers than those who didn't. As they pursue different activities, our students will meet and spend time with new people and form new relationships and friendships. As they interact with those different people who have similar interests or different interests, they may learn new things, as these new friends may see life from a different point of view. Students who engage in extracurriculars are exposed to a wide range of new activities such as sports, painting, drama, scouts, singing. It's endless. The aim of education should be to develop a student in all of these aspects. This includes the student's intellectual, social, physical, and emotional capabilities. It is important to impart education that not only focuses on academics, but also lets students discover and develop areas of their interest. We are mindful that not every student can participate in extracurricular activities due to family obligations such as household chores, taking care of siblings, or ill family members, or cultural family values. Additionally, getting a job, raking a neighbor's leaves, babysitting, all of those things are important and meaningful experiences for students. It's all about where students are going to grow, where they're going to learn. Every experience for them can be valuable and they can grow from it. Each one of us counselors has worked with students who have demonstrated growth and readiness for the future through those kind of experiences, demonstrating reliability, responsibility, and flexibility in the real world, not just in school. So now that I've talked about how important it is to get involved in extracurriculars and how it can impact students' lives, how can they get involved here at Staples? Well, tomorrow and Thursday, we have our annual involvement fair for students during lunch waves. It's going to be in the gymnasium for them, and this is something we do every year, and it's a way for students to get a glimpse of what each club and activity has to offer. As stated earlier, our clubs and activities can help students find new ways to connect, make friends, give back, and get involved. From academic, volunteer, performance, sporting, and many special interest groups, this involvement fair offers the opportunities for students to find out about what great organizations await. For athletics, registration for information about winter and spring sports can be found on the Staples High School Athletic Department website. And we are pleased to announce that Staples High School will be continuing a late bus for students wishing to participate in activities after school. This will start on September 18th. It will depart Mondays through Thursdays at 4:45, and there are 5 designated drop-off points in the community. Students can go sign up at the front desk in the front of the school anytime, at any point during the day, to sign up to go on the late bus. So our hope is that this initiative will allow every Staples student the opportunity to participate in one or more of our offerings. So next up is Christina Banks to talk about technology. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Christina Banks. Another way to support your child is to help them manage their technology use. Our children are living in the digital age where the blue screen has replaced face-to-face interactions. Even small children have their faces glued to phones and tablets. Never mind our teenagers. I understand that the struggle with helping your child manage technology is real. I've had to set expectations and limits at home with my own children and have done some research, and I hope it helps you guys. Negotiate appropriate expectations and limits in your family. This does not just refer to your children, but parents too. When children observe a parent on their phone at the dinner table, during family gatherings, or late at night, they view this as being okay to do as well. It's a good time to reflect on what's happening in your home. Do you have phones present during meals and conversations? Does your child seem distracted around devices? Research shows that setting appropriate limits and expectations are effective and are okay for you guys to do. For example, this could include technology-free time in the car, at the dinner table, and during family gatherings, so everyone engages with one another and aren't distracted by their devices. Homework and study time is another important time to set phone limits, so your child is able to focus on their schoolwork and not be distracted by their phone. They'll be able to get their work completed a lot quicker if their phone's in a different room. In addition, and time can be set at night when devices need to be turned off or could be left charging in the kitchen so that everyone gets a good night's sleep without any distractions. I've mentioned this to a student before, and the response was, well, I need my phone to set my alarm. That's when a good old-fashioned alarm clock comes in handy. There are apps that parents can download if you wish to manage your child's technology use with screen time. One is called RPAC, which is a service to set time-based restrictions on Android and iPhone devices. Parents can install it on their child's device and control settings from their own device, like bedtime settings, schedules, to block or grant access to apps at a moment's notice. Parents can also do this on your child's own Android or iPhone as well under screen time. You know your child and whether downloading such a program is necessary or not. Setting limits may not be easy, and whatever you decide as a family, be sure that your expectations are clear and consistently followed. Here at Staples, we are also working toward helping your children set limits with our cell phone policy. Cell phones are required to be in the classroom cell phone holders during class time. I've had students express relief with this policy as they're able to take a break from social media and focus on the here and now and what's going on in class. Your children may go home and complain about the policy. However, what we're seeing here is that students are abiding by it, and there's more engagement in the classrooms. It would be great if you could support this policy with us by not texting or calling your child during the school day. If it's urgent, of course, go ahead and do so. However, if you're texting your child about a grade, that's something you want to wait until they get home, because that just only causes unneeded worry for the both of you. Social media is such a huge part of our teenagers' life and seems to be how they communicate, taking away from the face-to-face interactions with each other. Research shows that social media use is linked to anxiety, depression, and body image symptoms. I've had students come into my office and say, so-and-so's life is so perfect, why isn't mine? When I ask them what made them think that, they always go back to what they saw on social media. For example, pictures or videos that were posted on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok that depict the person being happy. My motto is, don't judge a book by its cover. People don't tend to post things that aren't going well in their life or in a picture that they don't look good in. Hence why social media accounts tend to perceive that perfect life, when we all know that nothing's perfect and that's not the reality. However, in the life of our teenagers, that's what they think is actually real. Collaborating with them is a key at this age, which can include being aware of your child's social media use and having honest conversations with them. In regards to technology at Staples, we have two main programs used by students, parents, and staff. One is Power School, and it's used to view your child's schedule, current and historical grades, GPA, the report card, which is available at the end of each quarter when grades are posted. You can monitor your child's attendance there as well. It's most widely used by students and parents to check grades. I caution you to be careful not to check grades too much. As counselors, we've seen that students and parents who check grades several times a week only tends to cause them increased stress and worry. So you want to decide on an appropriate amount of time to check. This may be once at the end of each week to check grades and just make sure assignments have been turned in. Don't be alarmed when you go and view your child's grades if you see a 0 average in a class. Be sure you can click on whatever the grade is, whether it's a 0, whatever it might be, and you're able to see what that grade is made up of. If it was a 0, it could be because there was only one assignment that was due and it's not graded yet, or it could be that it's a 0 because the student didn't turn it in. As I mentioned before, please don't text or call your child during the school day to inquire about that 0. It won't change anything in the moment. It'll only cause you both to be worried throughout the day. Instead, I recommend that you just take a deep breath and think about the following. You know your child, and consider whether this is a pattern and your child has a history of not turning in work, or if your child is one that tends to consistently turn in work. Then, wait until they get home and have a discussion about it. Students and parents can also view GPAs in Power School at the bottom of the grades and attendance screen. There are 2 GPAs that are noted. One is the weighted GPA, one is the unweighted GPA. One thing to note is that we calculate GPAs 2 times per year at the end of the first semester, which includes only the final grades and classes that have been completed. So it wouldn't include any grades in a full year course. It'll really just be quarter 1 and 2 PE or health, and if there were semester electives. Then we calculate the GPA again at the end of the school year once final grades are completed, and that'll include all the final grades in all your child's classes from 9th grade. So there will be no GPA if you go look now. Schoology is where teachers post homework assignments, announcements, and class resources like handouts. Students and parents can log in to see what is being assigned and what is up to come, as well as any resources that the teacher has posted. It's also good practice for students to write down their homework just in case when the teacher assigns it. Schoology is a program that should be used on a daily basis for students to see what their assignments are and get their work completed. There's a SHS Counseling Class of 2027 course created in Schoology for 9th grade students and parents to access information from our counseling office. In addition, on the Staples website, we have a school counseling page, like Mr. Plunkett noted, as well as a Class of 2027 page located under the Students tab. They all have a wealth of information, so I definitely recommend you check them out. If you have difficulty logging into Power School or Schoology, we have a parent help desk. The contact information is located right on the main page of the Staples website. And one other thing I want to note is that it's very important to encourage your students to check their school Gmail accounts on a daily basis. That's how teachers and all school staff will communicate with your students. We send information as well from our counseling department through a SHS Counseling email address. We try to only send really important information, so if they see an email from SHS Counseling, or if you guys do, definitely recommend that you check that out. We send a lot of important stuff, and we don't want anyone to miss anything. So, thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Deb Slocum now.
Good morning, everyone. Lots of great information so far. In 2021, a report by the U.S. Surgeon General listed the top environmental conditions harming adolescent mental health as poverty, trauma, discrimination, and, newly added, excessive pressure to excel. Students attending high-performing public and private high schools are now unbelievably labeled an at-risk group. In her new book, Never Enough, When Achievement Pressure Becomes Toxic, Jennifer Wallace cites a study of parents in districts similar to Westport, in which 80% agreed with the statement, "Parents in my community agree that getting into a very selective college is what's most important for success later in life." And 75% of the parents agreed with the statement, "I feel personally responsible for my child's achievement and success." Is it any wonder that teens and their parents are experiencing unprecedented levels of anxiety? When we were growing up, our parents believed that hard work, a good life, or an even better life than what they had was possible. My mother grew up in poverty in Ireland, so I ascended to great heights as far as she was concerned. Now, in a time of economic and social uncertainty, parents are truly anxious about their children's prospects and feel tremendous pressure to ready their child for a challenging future. In such an environment, it's easy to latch on to the perception that admittance to a highly selective college is a guarantee for future happiness and success. There is no formula, however, for ensuring economic prosperity and well-being, and the reality is that a tiny percentage, less than 10% of students, are accepted into the most selective schools. The fallout for teens is that they feel tremendous pressure to be perfect in every aspect of their lives, in the hope that despite the long ads, they will get that elusive admission offer. As one tearful senior recently shared with me, "I never feel as if I'm a good enough student, athlete, friend, or daughter. I'm never enough." At the same time, research in the last decade has noted significant differences between teen and adult brains. Adults, when we are at our best, think with our prefrontal cortex, the rational part of the brain that responds to consequences, to events with good judgment and an awareness of long-term consequences. In contrast, teens process information they get with the amygdala, the emotional part of the brain. So in teen brains, the connection between the emotional and the decision-making center are still developing. Their still developing brains are coping daily with rigorous academics, pressure to achieve, and the perceived need to maintain a curated presence on social media platforms. When teens have overwhelming emotional input, they can't explain what they were thinking. They weren't thinking as much as they were feeling. We have to remind ourselves daily that teens, particularly ninth graders, are not many adults, but works in progress. Over the next few years, you may see some or all of the following, and you may be frustrated by it. A limited ability to consider future consequences for their behavior. So the next time you exclaim, "What were you thinking?" you know the answer. They weren't thinking. That's why carefully negotiated parental limits are critical, even if they are often unpopular. As noted by Ms. McGowanlick, difficulty with long-term planning. Hence, the late-night writing of the English paper assigned 2 weeks before. Criticism and impatience, although really tempting, will only result in defensiveness. At this point in their lives, everything is a collaboration. So when they seem overwhelmed, simply ask if there's anything you can do to help. A drive to connect with peers. Teens, and we remember this from our high school, have a natural inclination to put their friends first. So this drive for affiliation explains the constant comparison to their peers. One of the most admirable aspects of teen development is their increased ability to empathize with others and to demonstrate great energy for causes and the people they support. So encourage your teen to see beyond their own difficulties to what they can do for others, not just formally, but with neighbors and family. Giving back has the additional bonus of being a natural mood lifter. Resist assigning community service solely for the purpose of building a resume, and help your child find authentic experiences. And finally, as you've heard over and over again, when teens express strong emotions out of proportion to the situation, resulting in frantic emergency texts sent to friends and parents, the most valuable support you can offer is to hold on tight and not climb on the emotional roller coaster with them. After all, your brain is fully developed. In the best of times, teens have a natural tendency to rant and complain. What they want most is simply to be heard. It's important that parents manage the natural desire to fix problems and resist the urge to jump in with unwanted advice. Jennifer Wallace found that healthy teens who were able to successfully navigate the challenges of life were those who felt they mattered. And that's the phrase she uses. They felt valued by parents and at school for who they were at their core, regardless of academic, appearance, and personal achievements. To be encouraging and supportive, parents need their own safety net. Find the stress reduction techniques that work best for you. My favorites are daily exercise and reading. And perhaps most importantly, find a few friends with whom you can be honest about the challenges of parenting, who share your values and provide a space for you to step away from the relentless sideline talk and media coverage of the college admissions process. These are the friends you can text when you feel overwhelmed. In the pressure of the moment, step away and ask yourself, what would my best self do in this moment? Or 20 years from now, how would I want my child to look back? As the parent of 2 Staples graduates now in their late 20s, I can tell you that every single day of the next 4 years is precious and cannot be recaptured. Even now, you are in the process of creating the scrapbook of memories that you will mentally reference over and over after they leave. And none of those memories will center on a grade, a test result, or a college decision. The best memories are made when parents remind themselves over and over that despite their increasing sophistication and blasé attitude, teens still want to be home to be a safe place where they are loved, know they are loved, no matter what. And now I'll turn it over to Victoria Capozzi.
Hi folks, I'm Victoria Capozzi, and I will now take a few moments to continue the journey of further understanding teenagers and how to help foster resilience in them. So what is resilience? We hear this word being used often, especially today. In short, being resilient is the ability to cope with life's inevitable disappointments and injustices, the ability to bounce back from adversity. Resilient people navigate the trials and tribulations of life without falling into a chronic state of negativity, irritability, and feelings of hopelessness and disrepair. Resilient people can or learn to see life through an optimistic lens and recognize that discomfort is normal. You can see it like this. Resilience is the ability to engage with a challenge, risk, or impediment and come out on the other side with some measure of success and feeling of worth. It's a psychological principle blending optimism, flexibility, problem solving, and motivation. So why is it so important to foster resilience in young people, in our 9th graders? So over the years, even prior to COVID, we've noticed increasingly many of our young people would benefit from developing the ability to cope and bounce back, rise above when things get tough. As counselors, we always question whether the behaviors we see are typical teenage angst or something more. We question and consider if the students' feelings of worry, nervousness, and fear are situational or temporary. Folks, our students are really okay. They're doing well, they're feeling good about themselves, and they too, most students are doing okay. And they too also need to continue to build their resilience muscle. I got some muscles. I'm an old lady, I got muscles. You and I both know the teenage years are just the beginning of life's trials and tribulations that will require your child to pick themselves up, brush themselves off, and devise a plan to move forward. Let's remember, the fundamental purpose of a teenager's physical, intellectual, moral, emotional, and social development is to form one's own identity and to prepare for adulthood. Now, wouldn't it be so nice if there was a neat, concrete formula for preparing for adulthood? If there was, we would all experience a lot less heartache, and we actually might be bored. Your kids are developing their high school stories to tell around the dinner table when they are adults. I wonder what your high school story was. Be careful if you tell those. We all have memories of high school. Your kids are in the process of forming theirs, the good, the bad, the ugly that often come with these stories. As counselors, we are constantly researching, collaborating with colleagues and community liaisons, looking for ways to support our students. We aim to help them find balance, strength, direction, and be okay with who they are. We do our very best to keep up with the new trends, technology, and expectations our teens deal with daily. To this seasoned, mature adult who prides herself in understanding teenagers, it's become quite dizzying to keep up. I bet you shake your head in disbelief sometimes too. So, how can we and you continue to help the kids thrive and grow and develop life skills that will help them build their resilience muscle? You as parents and guardians, and we as counselors and teachers, are the front line of help and protection. Is raising teenagers easy? No. However, ladies and gentlemen, we can do this. We can raise these young people to be balanced, strong, brave, kind, content, and successful in this world. I offer you some tips of advice. Keep communication open always. Actively listen without major judgment and validate their feelings, even when you think they are ridiculous. Learn to take a long pause, a big deep breath, and perhaps a phone call to that trusted friend that Miss Slocum mentioned, or take the dog out for a walk before you react, especially when they're making those silly decisions when they weren't thinking. This pause in space will hopefully allow you to respond in a way that will allow your child an opportunity to reflect on their choice and feel safe expressing their feelings in the future. Here are a few more tips that can aid in the growth of your child. It's often the little things that we do every day that provide the guidance and support the kids need. So for example, ask open-ended questions that require more than one-word answers. Instead of, "How was school today?" say, "Tell me about your day." Talk about the dangers of drugs, alcohol, vaping, and make sure your kids know what your stand is on these issues. They hear you. They put it in the back of their head. Trust us. They tell us. Be specific in your communication and instead of saying, "Be home early," say, "Be home by 9. See you then." Choose moments carefully. Is it best to have conversations in the car, or before bed, or at the breakfast table? You should know when and where works best, and if you don't, try and figure it out over the course of this year. Allow your child to use you as an excuse if they're in a difficult or uncomfortable situation. Be that bad guy. Come up with a plan now if they need to remove themselves from those situations, such as future parties they may go to. Eat dinner together as a family without the screens as often as possible. Tell family stories. Hearing family stories gives children a sense of belonging. Might you tell that high school story I mentioned? Choose that very wisely. Talk about your emotions. Let them know how you work to handle stress and difficult emotions. It's not about burdening them, it's about sharing your feelings appropriately. Get to know your child's friends. Make sure your child knows basic social behaviors, ladies and gentlemen. For example, saying please and thank you, writing notes of gratitude and thank you notes, knocking on doors before they enter, giving handshakes. Also, how to use the phone up against their ear as opposed to just via text message. Have them order dinner for you. It's a good way to start. Without going on open table or whatnot, have them call somebody. Expect your child to contribute to running of the household. They can empty the dishwasher, take out the trash, clear the dinner table, vacuum, put their dirty clothes in a hamper, learn how to do laundry. Jobs like these foster responsibility and pride within themselves. Prioritize face-to-face time, not via FaceTime, not via the phone. Together. If your child has done something wrong, focus on the behavior, not the person. I'm rushing a little bit because we have to go. Good kids sometimes make bad choices, remember that. Know where your child is going and what they will be doing when they leave the house. They may fight you on this now and tell you 3, 4, 5, 10 or more years from now they appreciate you being a stickler about it. Be a good role model. Kids learn their behaviors and attitudes from their parents more than from anyone else. Set a good example by not having your phone at the table and keep it in your bag or pocket while driving. But we use it for GPS. See, it gets complicated. Let them struggle and fail. You've heard this message today while they have their safety net. And when I surveyed my colleagues and asked for the one message they wished parents could hear, the largest response revolved around text messaging. Here are two of the responses. If parents receive a text, don't respond immediately. Give the students time to regroup and problem solve on their own. If you do respond, don't always offer advice or the solution. Rather, recommend they see someone in the building they trust or can help. Many kids look to their parents to fix a problem immediately when the student just needs to recognize what's going on. Take a deep breath and utilize the people in the building on how to move forward in a positive way. The other response was, don't text with your kids during the day. It causes distractions and often adds undue worry, especially when the text is about the most recently posted grades or missed assignments. We are optimistic this won't be as large of an issue this year with the new cell phone policy in place, but just don't do it. Be a parent. Think about and figure out which hat or role you need to wear and play each day or moment. Your child has friends and needs you to be the parent. Remember, parent, it's not only a noun, it's a verb, so take that action. They will forgive you later on if your actions are really uncool. So please know we work each day to instill a positive work ethic, teach and model kindness and integrity to your children. We're constantly flexing our resilience muscle while helping to build your child's resilience muscle. Your child's well-being and sense of belonging is our utmost priority. I'd like to end with these few words. Your child's mental health is more important than their grades. A grown-up body doesn't always house a mature mind. It takes a village. Keep a sense of humor. A smile or a warm hug can do wonders in helping soothe the soul of your precious teenage child. And trust and believe all will be okay, because we sure do.
Hi everyone, I'm Maddie Sokolowski and I'm another school counselor here. We just want to first thank you for coming to our presentation. We know you're all very busy and we appreciate you taking the time to come out. We understand that we've given you a ton of information today, and don't worry, we're filming it and we'll email it to you. But we want to remind you finally that we're here for your students. We're here from what they need from the day-to-day, and we understand that high school can be big adjustments for students and guardians. We want to assure you that we are here and your students are in good hands. The next 4 years are going to look very different for every single one of our students, and that's what makes Staples so special. We understand that there are challenges that come with having a child in a high-achieving school district. It can sometimes be difficult not to compare themselves with families and other students, but we want to remind you that each student's path is different and that's okay. Our goal for our students is that they leave Staples feeling supported, ready to enter the real world, and excited for the future. I can share that this personally is my first year at Staples, and it has truly been one of the most welcoming and supporting environments to come into. It is truly a community, and that is true for the student body as well. Please reach out to us if your student is struggling to find that sense of community, because we promise it is here and we can help them find it. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have because we are busy running to our senior connections groups to help them with post-secondary planning. Please feel free to reach out to us via email, schedule an appointment, or give us a call, and we hope you found this presentation helpful. Have a great day, and thank you for coming.